YouTube, what's going on? Crazyncman. Got another gun review from my brand new company, MilSpecAirsoft.com. I appreciate everybody who's been shopping online. A lot of questions, a lot of phone calls coming in. So I do appreciate your business. And also, as usual, if you have any questions here that you want answered on YouTube, you don't want to get caught up in the mess that is my YouTube inbox or in the comments, please come over to AirsoftAnswers.com, the web's only question and answer site dedicated solely to airsoft. As you can tell by the title, this is indeed going to be the review of the brand new Well M4 gas blowback rifle. There's nobody else has done a review. I know the lovely Kristen and Bake Jake over there at Airsplat did a little overview of it. But, you know, there's some issues with this gun, so MilSpecAirsoft.com. We want to sell you products, but we're also going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly about what you're going to get. So I'm going to get a little deeper into this gun than what they did. But all in all, the new Well M4 is indeed a pretty cool gas blowback rifle for under 200 bucks. So if you want to get started in the gas blowback world, this is definitely for you. All right, let's get on to what you're going to get when you receive your shipment from MilSpecAirsoft.com. Again, these are made in China, so you get the generic box with no name because nobody wants to put their name on anything made in China anymore, since the airsoft manufacturing over there is indeed illegal. I like these though because they come with the foam. You know, they're packed in foam. The gun itself's in that little foam crate. So I really like these because it makes shipping a lot easier, and I feel better when these shipping these out because you know they're not going to get damaged in transit. So anyways, inside the box, of course, you get the manual, the instruction airsoft gun. I really recommend reading this, not so you'll know how to use the gun, but just because it's freaking hilarious. This is some of the worst English I've seen yet. There are so many spelling errors and grammar errors. It's hilarious. So read the manual just for the comedy. And it does give a pretty decent parts breakdown here, but unfortunately I don't think it's the right gun. As I started taking this apart, I was like, okay, this is not on here, this is not on here, this is not on here. So it will give you some insight to the gun, but indeed it is not the same gun, because you can see here it shows a one-piece out of barrel. This has a two-piece out of barrel, so the manual is pretty damn comedy, but you might get some use out of it. Comes with your typical cheap sling. I don't recommend using these. You wind up breaking the hardware on them, and then your gun's plopped on the ground. You get the little sample pack of BBs. You know, they seem alright. You get a front sight adjustment tool, and you get an adapter for the speed loader to load the magazines. And then, of course, you get your 90-round speed loader. Cheap BBs, they give you a 50-round metal magazine because it helps to have the magazine with the gun. And then, of course, like I've been pointing out lately, most of the time the gun is in the box. Alright, right out of the box, the Well M4 gas blowback rifle. It is indeed an M4 carbine, as you can see. Has a metal upper and lower receiver, metal out of barrel, you know, metal buffer tube, carry handle's metal, the carry handle comes off. All the typical crap we expect these airsoft guns have. But the first thing right out of the box, and you know, the lovely Kristen pointed this out on their video too, is this thing's a little shaky. The handguard kind of clunks around. The barrel's better now that I've messed with it a little bit. But there's a little wobble in it. There's a lot of handguard movement. You got the 5-position law enforcement stock. It's a little jingly on the buffer tube. You know, so that's the first thing I notice out of the box, is it's a little loose here and there. But what the hell do you expect for a $200 gas blowback rifle that's made in China? The rest of it's pretty decent. Cosmetically, it looked good. This is based on the Western Arms gas system. So the internals, you know, you got a lot of upgrades you can do to this. It's a better gas system than some of the others on the market. So all in all, for 200 bucks, you want to get into the gas blowback rifle scene, it's not bad. It's just going to take a little tweaking, which I'll get into later on in the video. Okay, like I pointed out externally, you got a plastic flash hider. This is not one that has a set screw and glue. I can see the glue underneath it for sure, but it's the one that has the pin. So in order to get the flash hider off, gonna take a little work. You just can't unscrew it, heat the glue up, and spin the thing off. And if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't looked underneath this, I believe they are 14mm counterclockwise threads underneath, but like I said, I haven't taken one off, so don't quote me on that. That's not the gospel. Metal outer barrel. Like I said, it is a two-piece outer barrel. Your metal front side, of course. Plastic M4 handguard. This is kind of the cheapy one. You know, like they come on the D-Boys and all those cheap rifles out of China. So it works, but it's not the best thing in the world. Like I said, the carry handle is metal. You've got the two apertures here on the sights. Your close range, your far range. It is up adjustable, both left and right, and for elevation, of course. Like I said, the body's metal on it. You know, it's got the function and bolt catch, just like all the gas blowback rifles. The forward assist doesn't seem to do anything. Magazine release, like I said, 5-position law enforcement stock. These are nice. I like the gas blowback rifles because the pistol grip on it is more like the real M4 grip. It's not, you know, the AEGs are a little fatter because they have to have the motor and stuff in there. So I like gas blowback rifles because they got the realistic grip on it. And like I said, on this side, you got your bolt release, fire selector. Obviously, it fires in semi and full auto mode. Shoots about 400 FPS out of the box with green gas. We'll chrono it here in a bit, and we'll do a little shooting with it. Like I said, overall, not bad. You know, not bad at all. It's just got a few little issues you're going to have to straighten out. All right, now one of the first things I did to this gun, and I didn't like about it really, is the body pins on it are made so... Right here in this channel on this body and back here on the rear pin, there's a little spring and a pin that when the body pin's all the way in, the spring pushes the pin up and it locks it into place. And then when you pull it out, there's a groove on the pin at that spring's supposed to push it up again, and it catches in that groove so the body pin doesn't come all the way out. And what I found is, the front pin didn't hold in place very well. It seemed to kind of work its way out, and then the pin and spring they were very, very small, and the front one didn't seem to function. The back one works pretty good. When you push it out, you pull it out, and you can feel that pin lock it before it pulls all the way out. The front one, when I first took it out, I pulled it all the way out with no problem. I never felt that pin engage the second groove. What I did, I went ahead and I had some of the KWA body pins that have the two-piece, have the little screw holding it in, and I went ahead and I replaced the front pin, and I'm probably going to replace the back pin too, just because, you know, who the hell wants to be losing that tiny little spring and pin and then your body pins are falling out, you know. The only thing is the KWA pins are about 1.5 millimeters longer than the width of this body, so you have to sand them down a little bit to get them to fit right, but that's cool. I'm not a big fan of having to use an Allen wrench to get the gun open or take it apart. But in the long run, we've all been there. You're out in the game, and the body pins, after a while, they get loose anyways. And then boom, they fall out in the middle of a game. So I like these KWA pins. I've been replacing them on all my M4s. So that's the first thing I do. And also the KWA pin's a little smaller in diameter, so it does give you a little bit of play. But there's ways to fix that very easily. And then the second problem, like I said, is the loose handguard and stuff on these. Now, obviously, you're going to have to get the handguard open. Your hop-up's right here. For those of you who haven't used a gas blowback rifle, it's inside there. And I've looked into correcting this problem, but I haven't done the final solution yet. So the first ones you order of these are just going to be like they are right now, and then once I get this corrected, I'll put a note on the website that this is the new corrected model, and I'll start correcting them all myself before I ship them out. So what happened was the way they designed this is kind of stupid, because if there's any error in the machining, there's going to be this error that you see with the handguard moving back and forth, and also with this barrel slop. So let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see it. And here's one of the main problems, is right here. You got this little gap. Okay, so not only do you have that gap, but you have for whatever reason, the Chinese can't thread anything to save their life. They always make sloppy fitting threads. So you get that little wobble right there. If they had made it so this butted all the way up against it, or butted up against it on the inside, they would have been better off. And the thing what I was saying about any miscalculation in the, or error in the machining is going to wind up with this result, is you got a set screw here and here, a 1.5 millimeter set screw, and where these go into, they've drilled 2 holes rather than just clamping down on the outer part of the barrel. This piece on the barrel, those 2 set screws go into those 2 holes, which will keep it from twisting, and it'll give it a lot sturdier grip. You'll be able to crank down on it harder because it's not clamping on any threads or anything. But these 2 holes have to line up with the 2 slots that they've cut under here to pin the front sight. And then, so your front sight, once you get it all screwed together and get these in, it comes out square and standing upright and in line with the rear sight. So these 2 slots here are not perfect, because you can see they just take a ball end mill and they go right through there. So if those are off a little bit, and these are off a little bit, and the holes inside are off a little bit, and this dimension's off a little bit, you're going to wind up with this sloppy ass mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it in the shop, and I'll figure out if there's enough room, because there's a flat bottom bore, if I can take a little bit off this barrel and get that extra half a turn so this all lines up, that'll be good, and that'll be fine, and then you'll have a lot more stable barrel. Plus, closing up this gap here will close up that gap in the handguard. But I haven't done it yet. I have to measure and see if there's enough depth to where I can machine some of the outer barrel off and go ahead. It needs like an extra, almost a half a turn to get lined back up, but it just won't quite do it. So that's one issue here. If you don't have the means at home to correct this, machine shop or whatever, then you can go ahead and just get an O-ring or something to put inside here to take that handguard slop off. It's not, it's not going to be anything that kills you. You're definitely going to have to fix it because it does rattle around a lot, but that's just the way it's got to be. The other alternative would be to knock these pins out and go ahead and thread these holes and put some set screws in there. That way you could actually rotate the front sight and clamp it where you want once you get everything lined back up. So there are several ways to fix it, but like I said, these first few orders, until you see it on the website, I haven't corrected them. But I definitely want to correct it because it's just one of those stupid little things they should have seen when they built the damn gun. And then once I get it updated, I'll update the website and say you're now getting the altered version that I've corrected the barrel and handguard slop. There's also a little bit of slop in the delta ring in the first piece of the barrel. So I haven't tried to tighten it down, but I'm sure you could tighten that delta ring down a little bit more and take some of the play out of it. But the main part of the barrel slop is in the assembly here. It's just not machined quite as accurate as it should be. And the other thing, when you take these apart, the outer barrel screws off. It's got a counterclockwise thread. There's an O-ring in the end of the barrel. So be careful. Have one on hand, because when you first pull this off, you're going to ruin that O-ring because it's a little cheap Chinese piece of crap. So be warned when you take it off. There is an O-ring on the very end of the barrel to give it some stability. And you're going to ruin it, definitely, when you take it off. And I know, because I did it as soon as I took this apart. I'm like, whoa, there's the O-ring. It's broken. Great. So you can go to Lowe's and get them, though. And then just put a little silicone oil around the O-ring to lube it up when you slide it back together, and you won't have any problems. Last issue on this gun. Like I said, it's got some quirks, but hey, for $200, gas blowback. The last issue is the bolt doesn't seem to lock very positive. You can see there, you know, it should be locking open now. It finally locks. And when you're in semi, it seems to kind of lock open when you're out of BBs. The bolts, you know, it's an open bolt system, supposed to lock open. Doesn't seem to do it on semi. You can see there. I'm not holding the bolt release, and it just doesn't. It'll shoot all day without any BBs in it. On auto, it seems to work all right. It's not perfect, but it does catch when it's out of BBs. The other thing about the bolt catch is you can kind of shake the gun. See, I didn't even use the bolt release on it. So that doesn't work perfect, and that's another problem I haven't looked into to see why. But again, all I have to do is shake it and close the bolt. So again, it's not perfect. You know, it's never a perfect world in Airsoft, but I'll work through some of these issues, and I know a lot of you people, the gas blowback community is kind of its own little world. So if you guys that are into gas blowback rifles, if you have any suggestions about correcting some of this, or if you have any questions about aftermarket parts, just shoot me a line. We'll see what we can figure out, because I know everybody's going to ask what will fit, what can they upgrade it with. And right now, I'm not real big on the gas blowback rifles, but we'll definitely find out for you. All right, internally, here we go. You can see right here, I've fired maybe 100 rounds, 100 BBs, but I've also been doing just a lot of dry fire and messing around with these. You can see right here, this is probably where the bolt catch little issue is. Taking a pretty good beating on there already. And then internally on the gun, again right here you can see, get that in frame and in the light, you can see a little bit of wear right there. This is the bolt release mechanism. So you can definitely feel it's a little burred up on top. Naturally, you know, which it's gonna be, but like I said, you guys that are into these gas blowback rifles, go ahead and chime in. Talk about some aftermarket parts we can put on this, a little modifications we can do to it to make it a little better gun.